Uh,
Carter. How's it going?
hey, it's going well. How are you doing?
Doing very well. Thanks for making the time. This has been a highly anticipated conversation.
I know. I'm glad we finally made it happen.
How was your Christmas?
It was great. It was great. Me and my girlfriend Kaylin. I mean, I think you and
Yep,
Kaylin have had a
yep.
conversation before.
Huge fan. Yeah.
Yeah. So we stayed home this year. So it was honestly like super relaxed. Most of our family lives back in Ohio, and we're living in Texas right now. So probably like the least eventful like Christmas slash holiday season that we've had up to this point. So.
Yeah, for this year, that's just what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, that's kind of like, the whole theme of the year. So
Exactly. Well, I'm really excited to be connecting with you. We've got 20 minutes to just learn a little bit more about your story, to get some advice to those who are coming up and thinking about starting businesses. So really excited. And I've done a little bit of reconnaissance work on you. So not a total newbie on Leaner for Life. So just to get started, Carter, you're a member of the PocketSuite community. We do these lounge calls so we can connect with our community, showcase members of our community, and really just share the knowledge and the lessons learned. This business, sort of being an entrepreneur is a very lonely journey in many ways.
hmm
And you found a way to make it really social. So we think you have something really special to share with our community. So excited to dig into that. So just starting out, Carter, can you tell us, I did a bit of research and you've had a very personal journey with weight loss,
hmm
lost 145 pounds and,
hmm
both your family and just your own kind of personal evolution. This was like incredibly important for life and just for happiness. So I'm just very
Yeah.
curious, like, how did it go from being a personal journey to being this community of several hundred thousand and this business that's global? Like, how did that happen?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I'll try to obviously keep it short too. I know we only got like 20 minutes here, but
Yeah.
yeah, like you were kind of alluding to, for me, fitness specifically is definitely really personal. And obviously my whole journey with it started, with myself back in, most of my life I kind of struggled with weight, but like back in high school, I really put on a lot of weight. And I had tried and failed, pretty much every diet, like a lot of people maybe have, the fad diets and everything like that. Um, and back and forth, never really took it too seriously. And then one year, and I always like the catalyst, right? Like what created the change. And it's always like a funny conversation. It wasn't this like amazing moment of realization. I was just like 16, and I asked this girl to go to homecoming with me, and she totally friend zoned me. And so that was like the catalyst to me, like wanting to create a change. Yeah. So obviously that's not necessarily the whole reason why I did it long term, but that was kind of like what started it down. And process of like losing weight, that I obviously learned a lot about fitness and weight loss specifically, a lot about like how to do it the wrong way. I kind of like was one of those people who went from one extreme to the other. And then
Mhm.
after losing weight, like I'll always say that like, after losing weight, most people would think, oh, wow, like you must be like, way happier now. But I was like mentally like way off, way worse off than before. A lot of it was just because I just had this obsession around like this fear of gaining weight and all that. So that kind of translated into me doing a lot of inner work, which then translated into finding balance, right, with fitness in life, and a
Yeah.
lot of that, which has kind of brought about what Leaner for Life actually is. And so, kind of like I had this mission, I felt I had this message that I thought needed to be heard, because I feel like there's not very much balance with fitness, right? It seems like there's like you see these like crazy fit people and like. And there's also a lot of like shame and like morality around fitness. Like, like,
Yeah.
oh, when I'm working out and eating well and being a good person, when I'm not, I'm being
Right.
bad. Right. And
Right.
overcoming a lot of that was really important for me. And it's what I try to help people do. And so I just started just posting on social media. At the time, I was a part of a company that was kind of in marketing. So I knew a little bit about like content creation. I was actually doing content creation for actually in the fitness world for other people, kind of as like a
Okay.
ghostwriter. And so
Oh, wow.
I kind of, yeah, so I already kind of knew like how to create content and how to do that. But I started just posting it personally. And I started posting infographics. And it was really early on when infographics were kind of brand new. The only other company I had seen do it was Precision Nutrition. Like it was really big. People probably know that company, but yeah, I started doing that and it just took off. Like people really resonated with it, and so that kind of is what began the larger following on Instagram.
Wow. So
Mm.
at some level you had sort of like the skill set and the training to share these messages that really resonated. And then you were also then going down this really personal path that allowed you
Yeah.
to kind of open yourself up in ways that really resonated with folks. Wow. That's really cool. It's funny. I was reading some of the holiday posts that you've made
Hmm.
you talk a lot about, just setting intention, and you talk about like, moving at your own pace. It's you versus you, right? Like, and
Hmm.
as I was reading, and it felt a little bit like you were kind of deprogramming me, right? I felt like you were sort of like kind of forcing me to think about things that are much more positive, much less shame based, as you said, way. And I'm just
Yeah.
curious, like, where are we getting this programming to begin with? Like, how like, I don't remember in my household, like my mom saying anything to me about weight or fitness or what
Yeah.
have you. And in school, I don't remember. Is this just like subliminal messages that we're getting through as we grow up, or what is that?
No, there's probably a million answers, but like what I feel it is really this is, the reality is that like I always joke around, it's almost like we beat evolution, right? Because we live in a world where we're highly encouraged to like overconsume, right? And
Yeah.
convenience is at an all-time high. So at a baseline, like just going out in the world, like it's pretty easy to like overeat and under exercise, right? I mean, everyone will always say eat less, move more. And when it comes down to like the science of it, yeah, that's true, but like that's not going to help anybody. But the reality is, the cards are kind of stacked against us. And I mean, you just like you can go even to like this day, you go into a grocery store, you see like lose 10 pounds in the next 10 days, and I think the negative programming has kind of come to like this idea that you like you have to lose weight to get to a certain place or to achieve something, but also like people I think approach weight loss, and I always use weight loss because it tends to be more my demographic, but I think this can be
Yeah.
fitness and as the whole, whether it's losing weight or anything, as um, they basically like think of it as a temporary thing. Like, I'm going to go to college to get this education to get a job or whatever. So I'm going to like follow this diet to lose this weight so then I can go back to my life. Um,
Right.
it's compartmentalizing things and not recognizing that like, this has to be a part of your life forever, right? There are like
Yeah.
fundamentally like habits that have to change and all this. And so my biggest thing is always like reminding people, because I think the one thing that really hurts people, not just in fitness, but also business, is like time, right? This perception of like whether they think that they should be making progress faster, or they should be losing weight more quickly. That's really what starts like the negative feedback loop of I'm not making progress fast enough, which means I'm not trying hard enough, which means I'm not good enough to do this.
Right.
And that's the problem, right? So my big thing is like helping people break that thought pattern and like being able to really own the decisions they make in every moment. That's my big thing. If you want to go out to eat and like, eat more than usual, go out and get drinks with friends, that's totally cool. And like, if you can own that and be okay with the fact that like, hey, this may push back my progress, totally fine, right? Because like you said, it's like you versus you.
Yeah.
So I'm really big into that
Yeah.
kind of stuff, like helping people like really recognize that this isn't a race. You do have to work hard, but like, there's no amount of time that, you have to get there in.
Yeah. I was just thinking, in some ways, like perfection doesn't sell anymore. Like it just doesn't
Yeah.
resonate with people. It doesn't feel real. And it's like, that's not human, right? That's good for
Yeah.
robots, but not for us. So
Yeah.
that your messages sort of lean in that direction as well.
Yeah.
Um, so can you share a little bit about like what is Leaner for Life? Like there's a
Hmm.
30-day challenge. There's a community. Like what is the like
Hmm.
the full array of kind of offerings that are part of the Leaner for Life?
Yeah, so from like I guess like from a business standpoint, as of right now, Lena for Life, the
Yeah.
main offering is there's really two main offerings. There is a 30-day challenge, which for anyone listening, we just talked about deprogramming and stuff. Like the 30-day challenge is kind of like about deprogramming the traditional way people approach challenges. It's
Oh,
based
wow.
around like, yeah, it's like about like daily habit tracking. It's not about like, do this in this amount of time or anything like that. But that's like an entry point into what we're doing. But really, like from a business standpoint, creating the most revenue, and we're serving the most people is through coaching. And so for a long time, it's just been me as a coach, just coaching other people. But now it's shifted to a place where I have assistant coaches underneath of me. And that's kind of the model that we have right now. So we have two assistant coaches. We have a third coming on here soon, and kind of have like a little team there. So.
Wow. And is this purely online, or is it also in person? What's the scope of it?
Yeah, so it's based entirely online as of right now. That's actually kind of how I got into it as well. I did a little bit of fitness coaching in person, but mostly all online and digital.
Okay. So just digging in a little bit on the personal side, you mentioned Kaylin. I see her in your comments and in your feed. I've had the pleasure of interviewing her, and she runs an awesome business. She's a powerhouse as well. What's it like running kind of this fitness/life transformation business along someone who's literally doing, the same thing differently? What's that like? Is it super motivating? Is it like nerve-wracking? Like, what is that?
I think the majority of it is absolutely positive. And it's actually funny because whenever Kaylin and I first started dating, and we started dating, I started my business earlier than Kaylin, and already had success kind of whenever Kaylin was first starting. And so there was a little bit of a time where we would butt heads on business really hard, but looking back, it was completely because I just had an ego about it. I almost felt like what do you mean you're using that? And so funny enough, and you'll think this is funny, it's going to tie it in perfectly. She has been telling me to use PocketSuite for well over a year. And I fought against it because I'm like, oh, I'm not going to change my systems. I'm doing this. I use PayPal. It works perfect. I don't need to do that or anything like that. But once I kind of got over my own ego issue with business and stuff, ever since then, now it's just it works really well. We have to both be very mindful of hey, remember that we're also in a relationship and we need to not be working sometimes. So we have to set time aside, which we do a pretty good job of. But for the most part, it's super positive because we're bouncing ideas off of each other. And it's really helpful that our business models are also very similar as well. And so a lot of times, she'll have people who she refers to me, a lot of people who I refer to her, just because our business models are similar, but a little bit different. So on the whole, it's definitely positive and awesome.
Awesome. I'm going to send Kaylin a glass of champagne. I
Yeah.
didn't realize that she brought you the PocketSuite. That's awesome.
She did. Yes. Yeah.
It's funny. I'm one of the co-founders of PocketSuite, and another co-founder is my husband. And so we always have this challenge of when do we set the work down, right? Because we really do love what we do, right? And so, there's a little bit of stigma in society, if you're working all the time, that's a bad thing. But it's what if you happen to love what you do? So are you when you're talking about intentionally blocking off time, is it sort of retreating from this feeling of we're just working too much? Or is it hey, we love a lot of other things in common and we just want to make sure we create space for that too?
Yeah, I think it's both, because I also think with work, there's a time and a place, right? And especially when you're really early off, starting your business, you got to put in the hours, right? You have those 12-hour work days and they happen. And then we still have those occasionally, but it also reaches a point where it's there can be too much of a good thing, or rather maybe, you have to really understand your own energy, right? Not just physical energy, but mental energy too, with running a business. And so I think it actually pays to purposefully distance yourself from it, because you come back stronger. And I'll say this, there are times where, Kayla and I will go out to dinner and we aren't really talking about business, but something will happen and that will spark a business idea that we would have never gotten because we were constantly in that grind of just waking up, working, going to sleep and doing that. So, both for our own health as a relationship, right? Obviously, talking to each other and then spending time with one another, and enjoying other things, right? It also serves as a good break, a mental break from it. And then it gets you excited to wake back up to work more, right? Even this weekend, we purposefully decided, hey, we're not doing any work on Christmas Day or the day after. We forced it, right? And we didn't do it. And so now we're both more motivated to go to work this week, right? Haven't taken that break. And so I think it's important. I think it's especially if you're in a situation where you and your significant other are both entrepreneurs, and I think even more so if you're doing separate things too, because you could easily just not talk to each other for a whole week if you're just in your own world. So
it's funny. Eddie Jang's on the line. He's heckling a bit. I love it. So you're so sweet. Love it. We love you, Eddie. So this is a little controversial. We talked to a lot of fitness pros, many who use PocketSuite and who are active on social media. And one of the things that they bring up to us that has been a challenge for their business is that you have a variety of folks who are influencing people on social media. You
Mm-hmm.
have fitness celebrities who,
Mm-hmm.
look great and, certainly are walking the, they talk the talk.
Mm-hmm.
But then you also have fitness professionals who are certified, who have, a lot of the credentials and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
You're in this unique role of being both a celebrity in some ways and a fitness professional. So you kind of
Yeah.
straddle both spheres. Do you see them as like two separate roles in terms of like what you put out there? Or is that just like, it's kind of one and the same in terms of how you approach it and how you engage your community?
Yeah, I think of it as one and the same, honestly, because like it's always weird to me whenever people say like fitness celebrity or anything like that. I joke like, like obviously I've built something great and I'm super, super proud of it. I think of it more so as like it's like a new age blog more than anything else. Because I wouldn't say like I feel like the celebrity. I think that it's super inspiring though that there are so many people who have resonated with the content that I put out, right? Because people aren't necessarily following me because I'm always showing my six-pack abs, right? People are following me because they resonate with my content. And so if anything, it's a testament to like a reassurance, like, hey, what I'm talking about really matters and it's really important to people. But no, I don't feel like I ever have to like change how my energy is because like what I'll talk about on Instagram on the surface level is like the same exact thing I'm teaching to my clients, right? Because I really preach simplicity in all areas, right? And so yeah, I guess I kind of feel like it's kind of the same all the way through. I don't feel like I'm ever like juggling anything.
Right.
Yeah.
So just double clicking on that a little bit, like your community is several 100,000 folks in your
Mm-hmm.
community and growing, and that's just the ones we see.
Mm-hmm.
There's for millions who are touched by your messages. You actually have a fair amount of like fitness professionals that are following you as well,
Yeah.
not just individuals. And we certainly have a huge amount of fitness professionals in our community, and so I'd love to just get like, what kind of advice do you give fitness professionals who are just starting out and really trying to build their sort of online
Mm-hmm.
that online aspect of their business? Because I think everyone, given COVID, everyone is now sort of trying to think about what is my online strategy in a way
Yeah.
that they weren't necessarily before. So you were way ahead of the game.
Yeah.
What advice would you give them as they're kind of going down this road?
Yeah, I think the biggest one is, and this is like coming from somebody who has like a very big following, right? Is to like don't get fixated on like the number of people who are like following you or like even like how many likes you're getting on your posts and stuff like this. Because like the thing to remember is this, especially when you're trying to like start a business online, is that systems are what going to create the change. What I always say is this, like especially doing one-on-one coaching. And like, like let's say that you wanted to make like 6 figures doing one-on-one coaching, and like I'm gonna try to do the math in my head, but like however many you would probably need, like assuming that you're like pricing competitively, like really like 100 people, right? 100 clients over the course of the year, right?
Yeah.
And so if you are approaching it that way, remembering like, hey, like the people who are following you, even if you have like 1,000, like maybe you're just starting out and like over the course of like 2 months you now have like 300 to 400 500 people following you, like those are real people, right? And it's much, and especially in today's day and age where there is a lot of people creating content, it really pays to go deeper versus trying to go wide. And that's why even in my own business, where I've seen the most success are in areas where I have put more attention towards going deeper versus just trying to spread more as a message, right? And that's where even like things like PocketSuite have really helped, like with like mainstreaming or rather streamlining like the systems and getting those things in place, because you have to have the machine working in order to like get the inspiration to keep creating content. Because I always say like passion is like great, but like it's kind of like motivation. Like it's great when you have it, but it's always not going to be there. And especially with fitness, a lot of people get into fitness because like they're really passionate about it, but there's a difference between being a fitness trainer and being a business owner. And I would say that anyone who is shifting online, you're going to very quickly become a business owner. And so just like recognizing that from the start, and putting more attention towards building really good systems and funnels, and investing in, whether it's like coaches or whatever to help you create those types of things. Because the content, because I think should come secondary, because like if you're speaking your truth, you're going to find people who resonate with what you have to talk about. Because at the end of the day, people don't buy content, they buy people. And so yeah, that'd be my biggest suggestion, is not to get too caught up in like going crazy ham on content. Like really make sure that you're putting time into like developing your systems and like learning about the business and marketing side of it too, because that's what's really going to, obviously, create the money long term for you to want to continue doing what you're doing. Because
Right.
you got to make money in order
Right.
to like still want to like create and be passionate. So.
Well, you've talked a bunch about systems. So I'd love for you to share just one thing that like rocks your world about PocketSuite system, just so folks who
Yeah,
are using PocketSuite know.
for sure. So I think, and this was my big selling point with PocketSuite was it's basically just like a Swiss Army knife, right? Like it's a payment collector, it's a contract deliver, like you can deliver contracts, you can set up I mean, there are a lot of functions even within PocketSuite that I haven't even dove into yet that I can utilize, right? It's just been a matter of like I have to change my systems over to do it. And so what's made PocketSuite like so nice, well, one is obviously the support too. Like I think you guys have amazing support. Like anytime there's a question, like you're very on top of it, which is super helpful. Like even I got contracts set up in a way to where like they're attached to forms, right? And like that, like, cause so then like my employees can like fill out contracts for people. You guys hop on the phone with me and walk me through it. And one of the really cool things I saw from you guys was you actually then like put like a feature request to like improve that process into the future. So not only do you provide a really awesome service, but you're also like open to like hearing where you can improve to make it even better. And so, yeah. And then obviously, I mean, like, price is incredibly, what you guys charge just to use your services is ridiculously low, almost too low, I think. But like, it's like, yeah, just like the ease of it, just the effortlessness of it. And you guys do a great job, honestly, like all around, like, yeah, it's really just like, I feel like it's like Wave plus DocuSign plus, like a Calendly/call booker all in one.
Awesome. Love it.
Yeah.
Oh, you got so many. A Swiss Army knife. I'm going to use that. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So final question. I know we're at time here. So as you look ahead, what do you see on the horizon for Leaner for Life? Like what should you're always pushing the edge. Like we want to see where you're going. So we could cheer you on.
Yeah. Yeah. So as of right now, the biggest mission is to continue building out the coaching side. But going into sort of the later part of Q1/Q2, we actually sunk a lot of money into app development. And so the hope is once we get this app up and developed, we're going to start pushing more subscription, like lower ticket, like offerings. Because that's one thing that we're lacking right now is we have like a one-off product. It's like a 30-day challenge. And then we have our high-end, one-on-one coaching. And so we want more of like a middle ground there. And we feel that there's like a lot of people who would really benefit from that. And so we're investing a lot into developing a really good app that has really good support, community, maybe even an app that has like different subscription levels where there's just like the one where you can just do anything. There's also maybe a support level to it that's a little bit more. Basically just trying to like, gamut the whole range of like, free resources all the way up to like $500 a month services at some point, right? That's kind of like our mission. And I think the app is going to be one of the major pushers going into 2021. So.
Awesome. Happy to trade notes as you move into the app development space.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. We're going to need it for sure. Yeah.
Thank you so much for spending time with us. We're super excited to hear your story. Send our best to Kaylin. We love her, and we're excited about Leaner for Life. We're going to share this clearly on IG. We're going to share it on Facebook and also throughout all of our channels, including our website. So thanks for being part of our community.
Absolutely. Thanks for having an awesome service.
Enjoy the rest of your holiday.
You too. See ya.
All right. Bye.